Hi, I'm Finch Berling, and this is More Than Streams, the weekly music marketing podcast that will teach you how to get, you guessed it, more than streams. Today, I want to talk about the musician's biggest enemy, the AI. I want to talk about using AI to make your life better and make your music marketing easier. Because I know that so many musicians feel stuck because they don't have either money or time to promote their music. The basic AI tool only costs about $20 a month. And with $20 a month, you can let AI manage all of the tasks that you don't like doing, like creating content, managing your fan base, sending emails, and many other things that I will talk about in this episode. So I want to start with something I realized recently, which is the era of information is over. Every task you think of, Claude can do for you today. And it means that if you need, for example, to understand analytics on Instagram, then Claude can actually give you the insights and let you know what you need to do instead of you trying to figure out yourself why something didn't work. For example, the way you do it is you can let Claude review your content and it will give you a full analysis of your content, or you can ask it even every morning to just go through the recent trends and let you know what is working better now and how you can adjust your content in the future to make it fit the new trends. That's just something very little that you can do, and just that shows how you don't need to learn as much anymore because Claude can give you all the insights you need. Claude can be your coach. And the only reason you should hire someone is also the reason why AI will never take all the jobs in the world, and that's because AI doesn't have good critical thinking. Critical thinking is something that Claude has as a code, but us, humans, we can criticize music, for example, and art and content, and we can tell if it's good or not based on our judgment. Yes, I know that before that I told you that Claude can tell you if your content is good or not, but that's up to a certain level. You still need a person behind the screen that will tell you if the execution is right or not. And some musicians that don't have enough experience will not have the right way to judge whether something is good or not, which is why, yes, you can hire someone like me to make the judgment of your content and your music, for example, but you can reach that level yourself with experience. And that's the thing that will save you time and money. I will give you an example of a way that I used AI recently to save me a lot of time with one of my clients. So I'm using Feature FM to collect emails from people who follow my client's playlist. And there are a lot of different people that go to the playlist from different countries. And I wanted to divide those emails by emails from people from Spanish-speaking countries and emails from people that are not from Spanish-speaking countries. And the reason for that was that I wanted to send different newsletters for my clients, one newsletter in English and one newsletter in Spanish. And before that, I had to manually go through the database of the different countries and divide emails by people from Spanish-speaking countries and emails by everyone else. And that took me time. That can be a 20-minute or a 30-minute task. I wanted to save time. So what I did was that I downloaded the database, and actually there are 3 databases because there are 3 playlists, and I gave them to Claude, and I told Claude to go through the countries of all of the different people from the 3 databases and create 2 new databases, one with emails from Spanish-speaking countries and one with emails of everyone else. And then it's basically just went all of those databases from the different playlists and created 2 new lists, which I uploaded to the email marketing platform, and then I sent the emails. Now, also, how do you write an email in Spanish? That's something you can use AI for. You can just take your newsletter and ask AI to translate it to Spanish, and then you need to ask AI to go through the email a few times until it's perfect and there is nothing to improve. And this way, in the future, I can divide the audience of my client to just different databases of different countries. Let's say you can have Portuguese speakers, you can have German speakers, you can create different databases, you can ask Claude to translate the newsletter to different languages, and then you can actually ask Claude to send a newsletter for you. And it will just send the same newsletter in different languages to different people. And that would increase the open rate and how your audience will think of you by so much, because how often do you get emails in your own native language from your favorite musician? It doesn't happen. Just a small example of what you can do with AI. 1 week ago, I launched my website, More Than Streams. This is something I've worked on for a few weeks. That was the first project I've done with vibe coding, and it was super fun. It was really like writing a song for me. It's just taking different ideas and just turning them into something real. And that's amazing, because Claude is so smart that you will just tell it a very vague idea of something you have in your head, and it will create it for you. And this way, I created my own website and I saved myself time and money, because creating this kind of a website would cost you $5,000. So if you want to create an artist website, go to Claude Code and just tell it what you want. If you have an example of a website, that would be even better. Send it a few links of other websites you like, and it will take screenshots. You can ask it to take screenshots, and then it will create a very similar website. And you might ask, I don't know how to make it live, or I don't know how to do different things. So the best part about Claude is that you can simply just tell Claude, I don't know how to do it, and it will tell you step by step how to do it. And even better than that, there is a Claude extension on Chrome. So you can go to the browser and you download this extension. You can give Claude permission to do the tasks for you on your browser. And it's safe. I've done it before and it works perfectly. Everything I don't know how to do, because there are a lot of different tasks that you need to know how to do, Claude will do for you. Now, I want to give you a few ideas of practical things you can do to start using Claude and save you time and money. I want you to ask Claude to create a series of questions, even 50, about your life or career. And then I want you to record your answers by talking, not by writing, but by talking, and then transcribe your answers. And now Claude knows everything about you and how you sound in real life, because the way you type is usually different than the way you talk. You want Claude to understand how you talk in real life. Then you can ask Claude to turn the transcription into 2 skills. The first skill is your voice, and the second skill is all the information about you. It will use those 2 skills every time it needs context about any task you want to do. When you write the newsletters, never let Claude write them from scratch. Spend some time writing yourself. You can use Claude to maybe brainstorm ideas for what to write, but I want you to write the emails yourself. And you will only use Claude to improve the structure and grammar, and always tell it to use the voice skill to make sure it doesn't make changes that don't sound like you. Something else you can do is to paste the last 10 subject lines with their open rates and ask Claude to find a pattern in what works for your list. So it can tell you that this kind of subject line works better, and then in the future it will also recommend this kind of subject line. And you can turn that into a skill too, a subject line skill. Something else I really like to do with AI is organization. I use a tool called Notion, and I really recommend you use it. It's where I organize my business, my music, basically everything in my life. And you can connect Notion to Claude, and then you can ask Claude to just manage different things on Notion. For example, you can ask it that every time you write a new newsletter, it will create a new database and it will put all the newsletters in one database inside of Notion. Or also, when you talk with Notion about content ideas, you can automatically just take the content ideas from Claude to Notion. It will do that automatically. Just save you time and organize everything. You can even ask it to go through all of your photos and organize them. It can create folders for selfies, for the show photos, and even folder for photos that you can't use because they're too blurry or something. You basically just ask it how to give it permission for a folder, and then you let it access your folder and it will just organize all of your photos. Something else you can do is give it access to your Gmail. That's also something I do. And ask it to find every playlist curator, venue, or blog you ever emailed and build a contact list in Notion. These are just a few ideas of things you can do, but I want you to think of all the different tasks that you do or you don't do, because what AI is capable of doing right now is just insane. And I want you to dive into this world. Take a few days and understand how much you can use AI to help you with your marketing, execution, analysis, brainstorming ideas, coming up with ideas, writing your emails, writing your content, all of those things. Now, I want to talk a bit more about content if you don't have time to post content. Every time you write a newsletter, and as I said before, the newsletter is going to be shown on a Notion dashboard, you ask Claude to turn it into a carousel, a talking head script, and a B-roll idea. This way, every newsletter becomes 3 content ideas. You can ask Claude to create a carousel for you. So it will take the newsletter and create the slides that you can later post on Instagram. Also, if you're always stuck and you don't have content ideas, you can paste your song lyrics and what the song means to you and ask for 25 caption ideas. You can check which ones work best and use those for your ads. And of course, content is not enough. You need to build relationships with your audience. So maybe you can ask Claude to go through your comments and find the fans who show up again and again. Those are your biggest fans, and those are the fans you should message every time you release a new song and get their emails and start selling merch. Make sure they come to your live show, and basically that way you can make sure your content turns into fans, which eventually turns into income. I can talk about AI for ages, but I want to keep this episode short. So if you want me to give you more tips about how to use AI to improve your marketing and save you time and money, please send me a DM on Instagram and let me know that you have listened to this episode. Also, you can comment on Spotify on this episode and tell me what you think. And if you enjoy this episode, you can rate it 5 stars. You can go to the description of the episode and explore my new website. There you can hire me to run ads for you. You can book a call. You can apply for the More Than Streams new program as well. You will find a form there. Also, inside the new website, you will find 5 new tools that are completely free. There are some tools that will help you write a pitch for curators. There are some tools that will help you find content ideas of playlist curators. And I will not tell you more about it. I just want you to go and explore it yourself. This is great. This is completely free. And I just want to use AI to make musicians' life better and easier. Thank you for listening to this episode. I can't wait to hear your thoughts, and I will see you next week. Ciao, ciao.